Hey everybody, welcome to Reading the Bible to Cats. And I think Henry wants to listen to the Bible, but I'm afraid Henry, are you gonna get ready to listen? I guess he'll listen. Uh oh, now I have to adjust. He just left the frame. Oh no, you're just gonna see his ears. Hmm. Well, okay. Well, just look at his sleeping, relaxed little furry body, and maybe it'll help relax you. And hopefully my iPad won't topple over. Okay, well, let's read. Um, Hold on. Okay, well, we're on Numbers chapter 27, so we'll just start there. And let me try. Henry? Well, after I read um, both chapters, because I'm reading Romans 10 too, I'll try and get Henry to say a few words. Okay, Numbers 27. The daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, belonged to the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. The names of the daughters were Mala, Noah, and Hagla, Milcah, and Tirzah. They came forward and stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest, the leaders, and the whole assembly at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and said, Our father died in the wilderness. He was not among Korah's followers who banded together against the Lord, but he died for his own sin and left no sons. Why should our father's name disappear from his clan because he had no son? Give us property among our father's relatives. So Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord said to him, What Zelophehad's daughters are saying is right. You must certainly give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives, and give their father's inheritance to them. Say to the Israelites, if a man dies and leaves no son, give his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his father had no brothers, give his inheritance to the nearest relative in his clan, that he may possess it. This is to have the force of law for the Israelites, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go up this mountain in the Abarim range and see the land I have given the Israelites. After you have seen it, you too will be gathered to your people as your brother Aaron was. For when the community rebelled at the waters in the desert of Zin, both of you disobeyed my command to honor me as holy before their eyes. These were the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the desert of Zin. Moses said to the Lord, May the Lord, the God who gives breath to all living things, appoint someone over this community to go out and come in before them, one who will lead them out and bring them in, so the Lord's people will not be like sheep without a shepherd. So the Lord said to Moses, Take Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom is the spirit of leadership, and lay your hand on him. Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and the entire assembly and commission him in their presence. Give him some of your authority so the whole Israelite community will obey him. He is to stand before Eleazar the priest, who will obtain decisions for him by inquiring of the Urim before the Lord. At his command, he and the entire community of the Israelites will go out, and at his command they will come in. Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and had him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole assembly. Then he laid his hands on him and commissioned him as the Lord instructed through Moses. Okay, everyone, that's the end of Numbers 27. And yeah, Moses, didn't make it into the promised land, but obviously he was, you know, he he went to be with God. And it's interesting in I forget where it is in the New Testament, but apparently maybe it's Jude talks about how there was a dispute where the devil wanted Moses's body. Oh, see, now I have to find that. The other thing I think about is the transfiguration in the New Testament when it's called the Mount of Transfiguration when Jesus was transfigured before his disciples and Moses and Elijah showed up and they were discussing what was soon to happen, with Jesus, on the cross. But yeah, just I'm thinking of Moses and, you know, yeah, it's sad he didn't get to cross over into the promised land because of his temper really. Um but yet, there he went to heaven. The other thing that stood out was the women. I'm so glad they as a woman I'm like, "Yay!" And I'm glad the Lord said what he said. And just that they had the moxie and the chutzpah to go up and say, "Hey, wait a minute. What about us?" And so the law was changed because of them. Or I don't know if it was changed, but it was a new law was implemented. Um yeah. Now let me see if I can well, maybe we should get to Romans 10, but I do want to I'll just see if I can give you that reference from the dispute over Moses' body. Hold on a sec. Just get a cup of tea or cocoa, hot cocoa with little marshmallows as I look this up. Do, 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 do. Hold on. Over the body of Moses. Oh yeah, it was in Jude. Jude 9. Let's see, Jude 9, 22 and 24. I think this is. Hold on, let me look at. Wait, where is that? Jude, Jude 9 refers to a story in which the archangel Michael disputes with the devil about the body of Moses. Yeah, Jude. I think Jude only has one chapter. Hold on. I'm gonna look up the actual. Well, I think we just read it because I did read Jude recently. Just looking. Oh yeah, Jude verse 8 and the okay and the but even the archangel Michael, when he was disputing with the devil about the body of Moses, did not himself dare to condemn him for slander, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? That there was this supernatural dispute between the devil and the archangel Michael over the body of Moses. Now that's so mysterious. Like, why would that be? Why would there be a dispute over his body? Um, Weird. It's very, I mean, mysterious. Maybe we'll understand down the line. If anybody has any thoughts, put them in the comments. Okay, well, let's go to Romans 10. Okay. Sorry, you're just seeing Henry's back. Let me see if I can move the camera a little bit. No, now you're not even seeing his head. Henry, can you show your head so people think you have understand that you do have a head? Well, Henny. Okay, there you go. At least you can see his ears. All right, so Romans chapter 10. I love Romans. Brothers and sisters, my heart's desire and prayer to God for the Israelites is that they may be saved. For I can testify about them that they are zealous for God, but their zeal is not based on knowledge, since they did not know the righteousness of God and sought to establish their own. They did not submit to God's righteousness. Christ is the culmination of the law, so that there may be righteousness for everyone who believes. Moses writes this about the righteousness that is by the law. The person who does these things will live by them. But the righteousness that is by faith says, do not say in your heart, who will ascend into heaven? That is to bring Christ down, or who will descend into the deep? That is to bring Christ up from the dead. But what does it say? The word is near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart. That is the message concerning faith that we proclaim. If you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved. As Scripture says, anyone who believes in him will never be put to shame. For there is no difference between Jew and Gentile. The same Lord is Lord of all, and richly blesses all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. How then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? And how can anyone preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. But not all the Israelites accepted the good news. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our message? Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ. But I ask, did they not hear? Of course they did. Quote, their voice has gone out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. Unquote. Again, I ask, did Israel not understand? First Moses says, quote, I will make you envious by those who are not a nation. I will make you angry by a nation that has no understanding. And Isaiah boldly says, I was found by those who did not seek me. I revealed myself to those who did not ask for me. But concerning Israel, he says, all day long I have held out my hands to a disobedient and obstinate people. Okay, that's the end of Romans 10. And yeah, talking about Israel and Moses and the law and faith. Um, yeah, and then in chapter 11, he's really going to kind of go dig dig down into it deeper. But there was something I wanted to say about this. Oh, yeah, that they, verse 2, for I can testify about them that they are zealous for God, but their zeal is not based on knowledge. Since they did not know the righteousness of God and sought to establish their own, they did not submit to God's righteousness. Oh, and verse 4, Christ is the culmination of the law, so that there may be righteousness for everyone who believes. And then he cites Moses. Yeah, it's interesting because I've been watching on YouTube actually some very Orthodox Jewish people, and I think some Hasidic Jewish rabbis talking about how they're just praying for the Messiah to come, Mashiach, and there's such like Paul is saying here, there's such a zeal, for God. And this one, I don't know if he was a rabbi or a teacher, but it's just interesting to hear them just like praying for Messiah to come every day and discussing what they think. Oh, it's fascinating. I'm going to go off on a tangent, I'm afraid, and lose my whole point that I'm trying to make. Let me make my point, which is, oh yeah, this one I don't know if he was a rabbi, but he was talking about the Messiah, and he said there have been, five people in history who people thought were the Messiah, and of course he did mention, number one, Jesus, but what he, I was thankful he did that because sometimes they, it's just kind of sidestepped, but what he said was that the reason that he wasn't was because that he, I think he said something about he was that Jesus was seeking to change the Jewish laws, the Jewish law. And I caught that and I was like, well, nope, that's not what he was doing. Because here even Paul says it, Christ is the culmination of the law. So that he, and even Jesus himself said, not one jot or tittle of I forget you know what I'm talking about though, that not one jot or tittle of the law will be done away with until everything is fulfilled, something like that. I'm massacring the verse, but basically he's the fulfillment of the law. Like he's the law personified, and yeah, I mean he's God, but and human. But so yeah, so there was an error, and definitely like it sounds like a little one, but it's actually a huge error that he you know anyway. But as we'll see in chapter 11, there's a veil that's over you know some individuals' eyes, and but one day that veil will be lifted and the Messiah will be revealed. But it's so fascinating. But it kind of helped to increase my faith too, because they're longing for the Messiah to come and return. I think in a sense, it's like Jesus will return and then he will be recognized, and it'll be amazing, and so many people will turn to him, and Jewish people. And I think Paul's going to talk about that in chapter 11. There was something else I wanted to say. Now I'm forgetting what my point was. It's going on a tangent. Um, Messiah. Oh, now it escapes me. Um, give me a second here. Anyone who believes in him will not be put to shame, for there is no difference between Jew and Gentile. The same Lord is Lord of all and richly blesses all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Hmm. So amazing. The whole thing. I'm just glad. I'm just glad I'm in. Just glad I'm. I know. Oops. I'm getting a phone call, you guys. I I've got to go, but I'll be praying for you. Okay. Bye.